NBA fans, what's going on? I'm your host, Jimmy Crowther for Chat Sports, breaking down all the latest NBA news and rumors. And today, I'm going to start off with one about Ben Simmons and D'Angelo Russell. Could the Golden State Warriors and Philadelphia 76ers be talking a little trade swap between the two point guards? That's the latest rumor going around, according to The Athletic, is that, hey, the Sixers could be willing to shop Ben Simmons, but here's the deal. Simmons is still on his rookie contract. His new contract has not set in yet. It will this summer. So really, the money wouldn't line up for this trade deadline. This might be a end of the season, into the summer type trade for these two teams. Now, for Ben Simmons, his numbers have been a little bit down offensively. However, defensively, Ben Simmons has been off the charts. In the stats, he's averaging 14.9 points per game, 7.5 boards, 8.6 assists. He really is a triple-double threat, basically a power forward playing in a point guard's body. 57.6% from the field as well. We all know Ben Simmons does not shoot the three, even though he's actually attempted a couple this year. Now, here's the deal, is that this would be a swap between D'Angelo Russell and Ben Simmons, because D'Angelo Russell would spread the floor for the Philadelphia 76ers, while Ben Simmons would go into the Golden State Warriors, basically just take over the team this year, kind of be the face of it, and then next year, when guys like Klay Thompson and Steph are back, that's when things start to matter. Now, you put the two side by side, Ben Simmons at 14.9 points per game, again, that triple-double threat with the really high efficiency rate, field goal percentage of 57.6, next to D'Angelo Russell of the Golden State Warriors right now. Look, he started the year off slow, but he's had a better play as of late for the Warriors. 23.2 points per game, 3 boards. He's dishing the ball well at 6 assists, despite not really having a lot of great teammates to pass to. And he's shooting it from 3 pretty well at 36.3% as well. Now, before I get to what these two teams might look like on the floor with new point guards, I want to tell you about a pretty safe bet, and that's using BetDSI to make all your sports bets this year. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, use promo code NBA120, BetDSI is going to hook up all the Chat Sports watchers, listeners, viewers with a 120% deposit bonus. So go use that promo code NBA120. Go put some money down on some NBA games tonight. Now, let's look at the Philadelphia 76ers. They get D'Angelo Russell in here, and all of a sudden, their new backcourt's D'Angelo Russell and Josh Richardson. Then you put in Tobias Harris, Al Horford, and of course, Joel Embiid. Now, D'Angelo Russell overall is not a better player than Ben Simmons, but maybe he fits this Philadelphia team a little bit better because he provides more spacing. All of a sudden, you've got 5 guys on the floor that can actually hit a 3, and D'Angelo Russell, Richardson, Harris, Horford, and Embiid. And, when Ben Simmons is in there instead, there's not a lot of floor spacing. It really clogs up the middle, and it makes it tough for Joel Embiid to work down low. So maybe D'Lo and Embiid would be better than Embiid and Ben Simmons. Now, for the Warriors, on the other hand, it's not about this year. It's about what this team could look like next year with Ben Simmons. All of a sudden, you go Simmons with the point guard position. Steph Curry could play off the ball. Really, I'd expect him to still play on the ball. Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and then I got Willie Cauley-Stein in there for now, but that could be a guy like the number 1 pick, James Wiseman, maybe. I mean, that's a lot of fun. When you have 2 of the historically best three-point shooters in the league, that makes Ben Simmons' lack of a three-point jumper look a lot better and a lot less of a problem. Now, here's the real question, because I think both teams would benefit greatly from this deal. I think it makes a lot of sense on both sides. But ultimately, who wins the trade? Who gets better because of this deal? Type P for Philly, type W for the Warriors, and let me know in the comment section below, because here's what's going to happen. You're probably going to get hit with an ad break if you're watching this on YouTube. So I want you to scroll down, let me know which team would be better, and then let this ad roll through real fast. Let's talk about another player in California, Kyle Kuzma. Could he be on the move for a guy in California as well, Bogdan Bogdanovic? Now, here's the thing with Kuzma. He's young, but he's one of the most tradable and probably valuable trade assets the Lakers have right now, being that 6-man role. He can play either forward position. He's a good scoring spark off the bench. But this year, he hasn't really been that great. I kind of expected him to come in and be a 3rd star next to LeBron and Anthony Davis. And I say star, I take that lightly, not an all-star by any means, but at least better than what he's done at 12 points per game, 3.6 boards. He's not passing the ball well, and he's barely even shooting, he's nearly shooting, not yet shooting 35% from 3, Now, on the other hand, you go and you look at a guy like Bogdan Bogdanovic for the Sacramento Kings. I absolutely love what this guy brings to the team. Now, he's going to be a restricted free agent this year, but he's really, really young. And I think if this stat is still correct, The Kings are 0-6 without him. So he's a really important piece for this Sacramento team who's young, with guys like De'Aaron Fox, Marvin Bagley, even Harrison Barnes and Buddy Hield are young players as well. And you put them side by side, it's pretty clear who the better player is right now. It's Bogdanovic. He's averaging more points per game. He's pulling in nearly as many rebounds despite being smaller than Kyle Kuzma. He dishes the ball really well. He's a great playmaker. I love watching Bogdanovic play. That kind of just comes with his experience in the Euro leagues. And he's shooting 38.3% from three, so he's a knockdown three-point shooter. And his field goal percentage is higher. And Kuzma's a power forward, so Bogdanovic really does everything better than Kuzma. I mean, neither of them are great defensive players either, so I give the edge to Kuzma here. Now, here's the trade that I cooked up for these two California teams. The Lakers get Bogdanovic and a second-round pick via Detroit for this year. Meanwhile, Sacramento gets a little bit bigger of a loadout because, like I said, I think Bogdanovic is too valuable to just give up for Kyle Kuzma. And the Kings get Kyle Kuzma, Quinn Cook, who I don't think is being used really well in LA because Alex Caruso is kind of taking over that backup point guard role. Even Rajon Rondo and Avery Bradley, there's no room for Quinn Cook. And then Talen Horton-Tucker, another young piece that the Kings can add to their core. I like it for both teams, I guess. But in all reality, I don't think Sacramento should trade Bogdan Bogdanovic, especially to a Western Conference team, because Bogdanovic is way too good to just give up. Really, I think they should try to re-sign him in free agency. I don't think it'll happen. But if they give him to the Lakers, all of a sudden, this is what LA looks like. I say just take a point guard out of the starting five. Don't forget about Avery Bradley. Forget about Rajon Rondo. Roll out LeBron James, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Danny Green, Anthony Davis, and JaVale McGee. I mean, that's two lights out shooters in Bogdanovic and Danny Green. That's two stars in LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And then JaVale McGee, who's been good, but Dwight Howard's been playing the center's position really well for the Lakers also. So I'm going to ask you guys, even though I think the answer is pretty obvious here, who's the better player? Type K for Kuz, type B for Bogdanovic. I'm really set on typing B for Bogdan Bogdanovic. I think he is way better now. I think he has more potential for the future. And I just don't think Kuzma has that high of a ceiling anymore. I think we've seen what Kuzma is and what he will be for a long time. Now let's move on to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Look, I've talked about them for a long time on this show about trading all of their assets, but now it may finally be time. They may finally be taking calls on guys like Chris Paul. That's according to Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN. They said that he says they are open for business with the trade deadline rapidly approaching. Now, the four guys that I believe are on the trading block, and I think the rest of the league believes as well, Danilo Gallinari, Steven Adams, Dennis Schroeder, but most importantly is Chris Paul, the point guard who is running the show for the Thunder. He says he's having more fun right now than he's had in a long time. And, you know, I've never been a huge Chris Paul fan, but I do enjoy watching him play on this Thunder team. He's rejuvenated. He's making plays for others. He's stepping up in the clutch. It's been absolutely incredible to see this little revival from CP3 near what we thought was the end of his career, but hey, he could play for a long time coming. This year he's averaging 16.6 points per game, 6.5 assists, 5 rebounds, and shooting 37.3% from three. The Houston Rockets might be kind of scratching their head about how much did we give up to unload Chris Paul's contract, because he's having a great year for the Thunder. Right now, the Thunder are rolling out a lineup of CP3 and SGA, who I love, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I actually thought SGA should just take over all the ball handling responsibilities, but what they're doing right now is working really, really well. They got Terrence Ferguson out there. Danilo Gallinari usually is a starting power forward, but he's been hurt these past couple weeks. And then Steven Adams, of course, in the middle, the big man from, just doing it all. I mean, it's just what Steven Adams does. So now I gotta look at this, because this is one of the craziest things to me, is that the Thunder are actually in the playoff hunt in the Western Conference, because I never expected it. Let's take a look at the top 8 teams in the Western Conference, 1 through 4. It's, of course, the Los Angeles Lakers at number 1, Denver Nuggets at that number 2 spot, the Rockets sitting there at 3, and then the LA Clippers sitting there at 4. Again, and you'll hear this all year, the regular season doesn't matter for the Clippers. It's all about the playoffs. Now, 5 through 8. The Utah Jazz at 5, the Dallas Mavericks right behind them at 6, and then the Oklahoma City Thunder comfortably sitting in the 7th spot. So, and then of course the San Antonio Spurs, who picked up play as of late as well. But I'll say it, I didn't think the Thunder would even be sniffing the playoffs, and here they are with a team full of veterans and young guys, and they're actually in the hunt in the Western Conference. So the question is, do they really need to make these trades? Should they really dump everyone or just fight for a playoff spot? I'm not sure. I think they'll end up trading some of these guys, unloading the assets, and tanking out the rest of the season, but wouldn't shock me if they go for the playoffs as well. Here's a big question for CP3. Who should trade for him? Which team should make a move for Chris Paul if the Thunder are willing to give him up? Which I'm not 100% sold that they are. They could end up keeping the veteran point guard and just say, hey, we want to get some playoff experience for our young guys like SGA, Darius Bazley, Terrence Ferguson, Amadou Diallo, even Steven Adams could use a little bit more playoff experience. Now, let's move on to one more trade rumor today, and that is Andre Drummond. We talked about him a lot, but now this trade seems imminent. I thought it was going to already be done by now. It hasn't happened quite yet. Of course, the Pistons are looking to move their big man before he declines his player option this offseason and enters free agency. They want to get a little something for him. He's playing at an all-star level at 17.5 points per game, 16 rebounds, 1.9 block shots per game, and shooting nearly 53% from the field. Now, the teams that we know are interested in Andre Drummond: the Atlanta Hawks, the Dallas Mavericks, the Toronto Raptors, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Boston Celtics. The Hawks and Cavs, of course, the two lottery-bound teams in this group. And then you got contenders like the Raptors, the Mavs, and the Boston Celtics. Now, before I get into what a trade of Andre Drummond might look like and which team might trade for him, I want to remind you to go to betdsi.chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code NBA120. Get your 120% deposit bonus. Start making some bets with BetDSI. Make some money. All right, let's look at a trade here. The Atlanta Hawks. I think this is the team that's going to end up making a move for him. And here's a deal that I think could go down in the near future. Chandler Parsons, of course, they get to unload that contract. Then you send over two young guys in DeAndre Bembry and Alex Len. Alex Len's been pretty good for this Atlanta team. Bembry's kind of fallen out of the rotation a little bit. And then the most valuable asset, arguably, out of all of these is that 2020 first-round pick from the Brooklyn Nets. Now, the Atlanta Hawks, on the other hand, they get Andre Drummond, another all-star to pair next to Trae Young, who needs some help on this Atlanta team, the worst team in the NBA right now. So what does this team look like now with Andre Drummond in the middle? You go Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, who I really like. I think he's an X factor for this team. DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, who is incredible, and Andre Drummond down low. Now, this moves Cam Reddish to the bench. Andre Drummond comes in. He's an immediate scoring punch. He's an immediate rebounder. He takes the load off John Collins down low. He takes the load off Trae Young all around. And then that spaces the floor for guys like Kevin Huerter and DeAndre Hunter to hit threes as well. I like this team for Andre Drummond. I think it makes a lot of sense. But let me know who you guys think will make a move for Andre Drummond. Where do you think Andre Drummond will end the 2019-2020 season? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.